We're talking about misusing NVC
I don't know about misusing. I don't know if I
or
like that
not
term.
using it.
Yeah, misusing it, I think is pretty, it's evaluative. So, like, what do we even mean by misusing? But you can tell when someone's not using it.
Yeah.
Um,
Or like in alignment with the process, I guess.
okay, I could go with that. Yeah. What do you want to say about that?
Well, recently I had a friend who was telling me about a relationship they had in which their partner wanted them to learn NVC, and she did, but then she said it was very one-sided. So like she would actively practice it, but the partner would not.
Hmm.
And I think there was just, yeah, they were not in alignment with the integrity of the practice.
So one person asked the other person to learn it so that they can talk using it and deal with their conflicts using it. And then the person that asked for it, once the other person learned it, they didn't implement it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this friend said that they, I mean, in a judgmental term, they kind of like quote unquote manipulated the process. And whenever this friend would
What does that mean?
kind of,
Manipulated the process. What did the person do that was that the other person was thinking was manipulating?
I
Because right
think,
there, just right there, if the person is saying he manipulated the process, right there, I have a question about, like, okay, he manipulated it. You're saying that he manipulated it, so you are needing, maybe some safety, some trust,
mhm.
and at the same time, I'm concerned. I feel concerned hearing someone saying that they used the process, but he manipulated things, because to me, that's saying that the person doesn't have an awareness that they're using judgmental language to explain what this other person did. So it makes me, so I have some question as to how much this person, how
Yeah,
much
maybe,
anybody, how much anybody was really using NVC at all
yeah,
in
maybe
this
their
process.
skill level. I think NVC, like this version of what their partner kind of tried to teach them, left a bad taste in their mouth. So like afterwards they were like, I don't know about this thing because this person tried to teach it to me. And then
Hmm.
whenever I tried to use it, they would like get mad at me and they would not be in integrity with it at all.
Hmm.
So it's like they would just kind of jackal at the person when they would try to use it. So it just
Okay,
sounds
so
confusing.
sounds very confusing. Sounds like I'm guessing. See, that's the thing. There's a lot to it, right? There's so much to the NVC journey, and in the early stages of it, I think this is my thinking. I think it can be dangerous in the early stages of it, because people are trying it, and there's so much to, there's the empathy and what empathy is, and staying in empathy instead of using other conversational responses, and then when you're speaking, trying to make those distinctions between an evaluation and an observation, or a thought and a feeling, and like, and just remembering all those things while you're pissed off to
Hmm.
begin with,
There's a
and you
lot
don't
to
want to do
hold.
this. You want to do that other thing of yelling at the person, that's so much quicker and easier, and, like, I can snap them into shape if I just do the same old shit that I always, just tell it to them the way I want to tell it to them. So,
Hmm.
there's so many things to remember and apply, and then shifting internally, energetically, to use this process. So, I personally wish that when people are in the early stages of learning NVC, which, you know, how do you even define what the early stages happen to be? I mean, I think just reading the book, you're in the early stages. Taking your first intro class or two, you're in the early stages. That's what I would say. Right.
Hmm.
And if you're in any of those, like, if you're in any of those situations, You're in the early stages and it doesn't come easy. It still doesn't come easy. I've been doing this a long time. It still doesn't come easy for me, but I have awareness now. In the early stages, like it sounds like with these two people, it doesn't sound to me like she had all that much awareness of her own jackling in a moment or jackling about the situation. And it sounds like the person that told her to use the process and learn the process, that that person also didn't have a lot of awareness of their own process and where they were.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's like, and that's okay. When you're in the early stages, you might not, but then hopefully you're doing some kind of practice where you get awareness and then you can go back and try it again. That's the do over component here. But it sounds like these people didn't have any of that. You know, they're kind of on their own reading the book and learning it on their own. And yeah, and then it's not, quote, working. This stuff isn't working. You know, I don't like it. Well, I think it's probably because they're in the early stages and they're not truly applying it yet. They're still in that very hard place.
Yeah, I think there
And
wasn't a lot of
confusing.
like understanding around that with learning and support, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. I think most people that really find NVC to be beneficial have practice with it. They practice it and they have community practicing it. So it comes alive. And so when things happen, you have a place to go and get some empathy and to have different perspective, to be able to step back in and get tooled up on some of your skills. I mean, it's an ongoing living with it process that hopefully again you have practice with people that know the process and there's community. So you end up having a lot of resource while learning it. Um,
Yeah, there's like encouragement and
Yeah, there's
yeah.
encouragement, and well, you're also hearing other people going through their trials and tribulations. I think there's a lot of comfort when you're in a group and you hear other people that are really, you know, struggling with it, having mornings around the process or being able to share some of their celebrations in places where they finally did remember to do it and they did it this way and oh my gosh, like when you're hearing other people and their experiences, you grow from that also, right?
Hmm.
NVC is not an easy process to do in isolation. I really believe
No,
that.
I think
It's
it's
just,
I think it's impossible to do in a vacuum.
yeah. I mean, you can read about it and start to like intellectualize the concepts and get that down, but it's totally different, like knowing it here and then living it fully in your body,
Hmm.
mind, and spirit. Yeah. So that's my guess is like that's I feel sad hearing that. I mean, but I feel sad hearing that. And at the same time, like I know with my own NVC journey in the early stages, man, did I mess it up so much, like so much, cause maybe more disconnection than connection. Um, and then I would have these moments where I would remember parts of it and apply and then have the connection that I was searching for. And it would be like, wow, look at how, just doing it in little bits and pieces and having the times when you screw it up inform you, and then having the times where connection is actually made, laying down a new track in your brain that you can actually do it this way. All of that is part of how you grow and evolve with the process.
Yeah, it just takes time and awareness and practice.
And openness. That's
Hmm.
another thing.
For sure.
Openness. In fact, when people come into my intro class, I think I have these what I call common pain points. I think we did an episode on that way back
Yeah.
when, the common pain points. And number one of the common pain points is hating NVC. Like, if you're uncomfortable with this, guess what? You're right where you're supposed to be with this. Like, if you hate it, like if you're having a moment like that, that's part of it. It is totally part
Yeah.
of it.
It's a big part, meeting that growth edge.
Hmm. Yeah. So I don't know if there's much more to say about that. I really hope that your friends can get some greater support. Um, the thing is, I think most people, we're walking in the world and interacting in the world and doing our interactions in the way that we've always learned. And most of the time, it doesn't work out too well for us. So we're in search of like, there's got to be a different way to do this. There's got to be. And and then here we have NVC, and it is a different way, and it is cumbersome. I like to believe that once people kind of go through the door of NVC, you can't fully go back. Like,
Yeah.
there's this thing, and then hopefully in a moment of crisis, you'll pull it. If you're not in community already or not doing empathy gym or the Big B method, in a moment of total crisis, that's usually when we're like, what was that thing again? Maybe I can go back and try this. And then people start on their journey and their commitment to the work. So,
Yeah, definitely.
um, I think that's it. Come join us. Not just your friends, but everybody. Come join us at thebigbmethod.com, www.thebigbmethod.com. You can find about all of our offerings, the intro class, empathy gym, which you can join once you go through the intro class. We've got blogs now. Got all kinds of things happening. My book, my link to Mildred is out there in the universe. It's on Amazon. And we would love for people to be in this process with us. Come on to the journey.
Yeah. And if you have any questions or comments, you can call our Empathy Warm Line number at 850-706-0488.
All right. Thanks you, everybody. Thanks you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Bye.